Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I'm going to check out this video where they're going to be talking about whether or not this image is a racist one in Coburg, Germany. I'm going to give my opinion on it and check out the video.
Picturesque Coburg in Bavaria. The town's striking coat of arms depicts the so-called Moor of Coburg.
Now, in this picture, they're saying it's depicting a Moor. Now, anybody, with a little bit of historical knowledge knows that Moors were Muslims. Well, for the majority of them were Muslims, and they didn't believe in piercings. So that should kind of get your wheels turning as to why would they say this is a Moor when clearly it's not.
The emblem is now at the centre of a heated controversy. Opponents call it a symbol of racism, but many residents are mystified. Is there really nothing else to worry about? We've got bigger problems than the Coburg Moor. He's the patron saint of Coburg, and I find this whole discussion out of order.
She finds it out of order because she probably knows that that man back in the day was a ruler during the Holy Roman Empire. That's what a lot of people don't know, that a lot of so-called black people ruled Europe during that time. And the Holy Roman Empire was a big influence, was a big part of that. And if you see areas over there that it has a black, I believe it's a black eagle with like a red beak or something like that. Well, some of them depict like a red beak or something. They're all over Europe. Well, a lot of places in Europe.
He's never upset anyone. It can stay as it is. The crest dates back to the Middle Ages, when black people were often described as Moors. Today the term is viewed as derogatory, but it's not intended to be demeaning, according to Coburg historian Hubertus Habel. The emblem features Saint Mauritius, a black Christian knight who was martyred and is now commemorated.
Another thing, soon as he said a black Christian knight. Now, for those of you who don't know, Saint Maurice is like supposed to be some patron saint of the of the Roman Empire, and his legion was supposed to kill a bunch of Christians, but he didn't do it, and he ended up getting killed. Now, that story is basically a combination of a lot of different stories, so it's basically false. And for them to say that this is clearly Saint Maurice, that's not true. For those of you who know or might not know, well, I'll just say for those of you who know, does that armor look like Roman armor, traditional Roman armor? No, it does not. This dude is clearly a knight. And like I said, a lot of so-called black people during that time were knights.
Insofern ist das Wort meiner Ansicht nach.
To that extent, I think the word Moor is okay. And the representation of a black man as the symbol of Coburg is absolutely fine. It's an expression of esteem and veneration for the saint.
Not necessarily esteem and veneration for the saint, but it's more so veneration for the so-called black man and black people who ruled during that time, whether they say it is or is not, but that's what it's for.
Achtung vor diesem Heiligen ausdrückt.
That's not a view shared by two young Berliners who've started an online petition against Coburg's coat of arms. Alicia Archie is originally from the area. For her, calling a black man a Moor is no longer acceptable in the light of the Black Lives Matter movement, and is.
I kind of already knew where she was going to go, this young lady, with the whole, Black Lives Matter movement. That's really like a LGBTQ movement. If you read their website, then you know what that's about. But clearly this young lady is uneducated about what those signs and what those coat of arms really mean, especially in that area. You think they would have more historical, a better historical grasp on what those things mean. But they won't have it because it doesn't fit the narrative that says there's no way that so-called black people ruled outside of Africa or were outside of Africa.
Especially not a figure with thick lips and a Caribbean-style earring.
That
suggests to some that all black people and all Africans look the same, a complete nonsense for a continent where people look totally different from one another. Others find something exotic in it, a ferocity that has to do with savage peoples. It's a racist portrayal that should not be allowed to continue.
But a lot of those pictures where you see the people in jewelry and things like that, but it just goes to show you that, you know, so-called black people been on that type of stuff, like jewelry, swagger, what have you, all that going back then. And that was just a sign of prestige, their clothes, jewelry, you know, etc.